everyone, I am Kelly.
I am Angel.
I am Mary.
And I am Lucia.
And we are your student nurses for today. What's our agenda for today's Angel?
We are going to dissect a pig's kidney.
Are we forgetting something?
I think so.
Let's introduce our materials first. We have a dissecting kit.
Our dissecting pan and the pig's kidney. And then we have our lab coat.
Kidney goggles and surgical gloves.
Good day everyone, it's Kelly again. And in this video, we will guide you through the dissection of a pig kidney to give you some useful information regarding the function and structure of the kidney. My groupmates and I will be going through the external anatomy of the kidney to its internal structure and components while touching up on a few physiological aspects of the urine production. Let's begin with the obvious external features. We can see that there are two tubes connected to the kidney at the renal ileum, which is the recess in the middle part of the kidney. The tube entering is called the renal artery and the exiting namely the renal vein. So how do we exactly differentiate the vein and the artery? Let's have Angel to discuss the difference between the two.
To differentiate the two, it is important to note that the renal artery has a much thicker wall due to the fact that the tunica media has a lot of smooth muscles that gives it its overall thickness. You can get a sense of the thickness by looking at how rigid the wall is when I'm touching it with the probe. On the other hand, the renal vein has a much thinner wall as you can see by its flexibility. Aside from that, the renal artery also delivers blood containing waste and excess water to the kidney, while the renal vein transports the purified blood that has left the kidney back to the general circulation. In the process, waste is transported by urine and leaves the kidney via the ureter. When looking at the cross-section of the ureter, we can see that the outer layer is composed of two smooth muscle layers, including the outer one called the circular layer and the deeper one, which is the longitudinal layer. The ureter is also lined with transitional epithelium similar to the bladder. Now may I have Maui to discuss the internal anatomy of the kidney.
Now let's cut this kidney open. We will perform a frontal or a coronal section so we can have a nice view of all the structures of the cortex and the medulla. This way, we will be able to see the pathway taken by urine upon its formation and up to its excretion by the kidney. As you're cutting along the kidney, do not be afraid to put your fingers into the cut to allow the scalpel to cut deeper into the medulla. After cutting, we should end up with two halves, including one interior and one posterior. Now that it is already opened, let's discuss the features that we can see with this dissection. First, you should be able to notice that on the outer part of the kidney, there is a highly vascularized area that extends pretty much from the renal capsule. This part is called the renal cortex. The deeper part that includes the renal pyramids, those somewhat triangular structures, and the calyces would be the renal medulla. Upon careful observation between the pyramids, the renal columns that contain the interlobal veins and the arteries can be seen. The tip of the pyramids is where the collecting ducts empty, and this marks the stage at which urine is no longer being processed by the kidney, but instead is transported towards the calyces. The cavity that is directly adjacent to the pyramid is the minor calyx, and several of these calyces, generally from 2 to 3, merge together to form the major calyces. The major calyces eventually lead to the renal pelvis, which itself leads to the ureter. Now, may we have Alicia to summarize the process of urine formation and transportation.
The process of urine formation in the entrance of blood in the kidney through the renal artery which is placed into multiple vessels that passes through the renal column, which leading to the renal cortex, where these vessels branch out even more to form the accurate arteries and cortical radiant arteries. Then, within the renal cortex, the nephrons, which are the structure and functional unit responsible for filtering the blood and forming urine, will start to function. Three processes take place within the nephrons during the formation. Within the renal corpuscle of the nephrons, glomerular filtration occurs. Also, tubular reabsorption and the secretion takes place along the renal tubules and collecting ducts. This process allows for the concentration of waste product in the collecting ducts while balancing blood pH and electrolytes composition. The filtered blood eventually returns to the general circulation through the renal vein. The collecting ducts travel through the renal medulla, specifically in the renal pyramids, at the end of which urine is collected in the minor calyces. These minor calyces merge to form major calyces, through which urine is directed towards the renal pelvis and out the ureter, where it will eventually be transported towards the urinary bladder.
This pretty much marks the end of our video. I hope that this dissection and this short summary give you guys some useful insights regarding the anatomy and function of the kidney. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Bye!